When Games Workshop released its first plastic Chaos Dwarf miniatures in 30 years, I knew I had to grab a box so that I could adapt them for Warhammer the Old World. As someone who already has a fully converted Chaos Dwarf army for Warhammer Fantasy, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with this kit, so the first thing I did was just look at the sprue to see if any ideas sprung to mind. I was immediately drawn to this bit here, which reminded me of some of the old Chaos Dwarf iconography from 4th and 5th edition. I also really liked this Bloodbowl coin, which featured the same icon. Some conversion ideas were already starting to form. Next, I wanted to just assemble one of the Chaos Dwarfs to get an idea of how the miniatures would look when assembled, the pose, the scale, etc. I began by clipping away the pieces for one of the miniatures and trimming sprue contact points and mold lines where necessary. I dry fit the pieces to ensure they fit snugly. I also contemplated how useful the miniature might be for converting some bull centaurs. Well, it was kind of cool looking, I didn't explore this concept further. Then, using some Tamiya extra thin plastic glue, I began to assemble the miniature. I also prepped a quick base using some cork. At this stage, I had an idea to convert the model into a Chaos Dwarf sorcerer using one of the pieces I identified earlier. I thought this would make for an excellent staff topper for a Chaos Dwarf magic user. I dug through my bits box and found a great weapon from the Simbarish Twin Souls kit from Age of Sigmar. I trimmed away some of the shoulder so that I could line it up with the Chaos Dwarf body. Upon dry fitting the new arm with the shoulder pad, however, I decided that the arm might not be a good fit. I still liked the weapon as a basis for the staff, however, so I decided I would use the original Chaos Dwarf arm in conjunction with the Slaanesh weapon. I cut the weapon bit at the wrist and did the same for the Chaos Dwarf arm, then glued those bits together and set them aside to fully fuse together. Next, I turned my attention to the Chaos Dwarf icon, trimming away the chains and pouring liquid. While this skull is intended to be upside down, pouring out its contents, I wanted it to be right side up, so I carefully trimmed away the excess bit of liquid on the now top side of the skull. I also thought this anvil looking thing might make for a cool sacrificial altar or something, so I trimmed it flat. Again, I dry fit the pieces to see if it's shaping up okay, and when I'm happy with it, I glue the arm and shoulder pad in place. I notice the staff is a bit long here, so I trim it off camera. Now Now it was time to glue the skull to the top of the staff. I started by trimming the weapon on a steep angle to align with the back of the skull. Then I lined up the icon to see if it was sitting correctly. This may have been easier to do before gluing on the arm. When I'm satisfied with the position, I glue the skull in place. Since this is a sorcerer, I figured he should probably have a cape or something, so I grabbed an old Chaos Marauder cape, and bending these clasps a bit, I was able to fit it onto the shoulder pads and glue it into place. This cape is a bit long, but since he's standing on this cork, it seems to work okay. I use some blue tack to position the finished conversion on the base, in case I decide I want to paint it before gluing it down. And there, the conversion is done. I really like how he has got an open hand raised into the air as if he's summoning the winds of magic or something. It's pretty classic mage stuff. Bloodbowl kits are a great source for open hands of this kind, which also means they're a great source for converting characters. If you want to save a buck in this hobby, converting your own heroes is definitely one way to do it. By this point, I was really digging this new plastic kit. I used the plastic coin here as a sort of seed piece to construct an entire Iron Demon war machine using a bunch of Sector Mechanicus parts and some wheels. And I even assembled some more Chaos Dwarfs to act as its crew. I ended up liking this conversion so much that I built a second one and even magnetized a Skullcracker option. Having recently assembled some Snarlfang riders to use as Hobgoblin Wolf riders, I was in need of a Hobgoblin hero in order to field them in my Chaos Dwarfs army. So I picked up a giant space wolf at Adepticon this year with the plan to make him the mount for my Hobgoblin con. I think this worked out pretty well. He's even got a raised fist, on which I imagine he's wielding his precious ruby ring of ruin. So yeah, I'm really digging this new kit. I think it has tons of potential. Honestly, between these new Blood Bowl sets, the recent Snarlfang Hobgoblins, and the Hell Cannon, I think you could assemble an entire 2,000 point Chaos Dwarves army straight from the Warhammer.com store. Here's the state of my own Chaos Dwarves army for Warhammer the Old World. I'm really having a blast mixing and matching a bunch of different kits and bits for this one. So what did you think of these plastic Chaos Dwarves? Is anyone in your Old World group running this army? And if so, are they buying old miniatures? Are they 3D printing it? Or are they converting it? At Adepticon this year, I think I saw every army represented except Chaos Dwarves, and I think that's a shame. It's really not that hard to get an army together for them, and I hope I've inspired you to take a second look at the diabolical Chaos Dwarves. Thanks for watching.